Sorry, brother. So today we all know it's Friday, right? So we know that today is Jummah. So you guys know what surah we recite every Jummah, correct? Does anybody want to say it real quick?
Surah Kahf.
Do you guys know what the word Kahf means?
Cow.
Cow?
Cave.
Cave. He's right. So what I'm gonna talk about one story. There's 4 stories from this surah, right? I'm gonna be talking about one of them, which I think is really beneficial for all of us, which is called the story of the men in the cave. Okay, so we mentioned how the word Kahf means cave, right? So now we're gonna get into the story. There's 2 types of emotions I mentioned in the story, which is physical emotion and spiritual emotion. Okay, does anybody want to give me an example of what physical emotion might be?
Like pain.
Like pain, yeah. But how would you hide that pain? What would help that pain out?
Anesthesia.
Like a medicine.
Yeah, medicine.
Like any cream or something. Emotional pain can be going through depression. Something's on your mind, right? How would you guys cope with depression?
Surround yourself with people who can help you.
Surround yourself with people. We can read the Quran. I know Quran helps people get through depression. So now I'm going to talk about, since we're all youth here pretty much, there was a group of youth, correct, that were really forced to preach a religion they didn't want to preach. So they were really being forced to like preach that, and then all they wanted to do was preach Islam, correct? So like all these villagers, they were getting like attacked, they were getting like, pretty much they were just like not preaching what they wanted to preach. So one day, all these young youth, right, they all went to travel to a cave. So all these youth like traveled to the cave for one purpose, which was to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and spread Islam pretty much. So now think about it, all these youth, right, they're gathering for one reason, and when they get to that cave, right, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it so easy for them to just preach Islam that like in the surah, he pretty much like turned the cave away from the sun, so they get a little bit of sunlight, but then they get a lot of shade in that cave, so they can read their Quran, they can preach their Islam, they can pray and everything. So I just want to like, just like look at how like meaningful that was. Like in their hearts, they knew what was right and what to do. So think about it like nowadays, like think about hardships nowadays. Like how do we deal with hardships nowadays? Any examples? Okay, well that's one way.
Sometimes we forget our problems, try to forget them,
Alright,
and ignore them.
ignore our problems. Who's there?
Yeah, pretty much ignore the problems are just like, what I do when I'm like a little bit angry, I just go work out to cope with the anger, start working out, it's good.
Like think about how easy it is for us now. Like we can go online, look up the Quran, we can go find surah or hadiths online. We have like so much knowledge of Islam. But think about like these kids were getting mad. They were getting like pretty much almost prosecuted. Think about that. That the king in their city was so mad that they wanted to preach Islam. Think about that. Here, I know people are even scared to like say that they're Muslim. That's a true problem nowadays. And these youth, they're like our age, man. They weren't even scared at all one bit. And think about it. They traveled all the way to the cave, a cave that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected for them. And stuff like this is why I think young Muslims, youth groups are beneficial. If we want to run through hardships, we can go to the masajid, right? We can go to the masjid. We can see how like when we all come together here, we can preach our Islam, we can read our Qurans, we can pray our namaz over here. So that's like one pretty much story I wanted to get out from you guys. Do you have any other questions?
So, what religion were they forced to preach?
So in the Yasser Qadi, those Seer videos, it was like they were pretty much Christianity was the religion, according to him. So that's what like they were preaching. But the king was such a strong, strict ruler that like he wouldn't even allow anything. They thought Christianity was the right way to go.
Did you just set out to go somewhere? Were they specifically going to that cave?
No, there was like a specific cave according to the series. And then like they knew that if they traveled to that cave, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was going to protect them.
And they were driven from their city, right?
Yeah.
They were because they were being persecuted. They
They
were
migrated
driven away. They were actually like traveling, and then I guess they ended up coming upon that cave.
Yeah.
But their religion was not the Christianity like we have today. They were monotheists.
Yeah.
They were not like a Trinitarian, Son of God, or no.
But we all know that Islam is like.
They were the follower of the Isa alayhi salam, the Jesus. Jesus believed in one God, so basically they were preaching the same thing which is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was preaching. exactly according to the
Yeah.
Quranic understanding.
And like, there's also a narration that they slept for like, some say like 300 years, 305 years, but like, this, look how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it easy just for them to like, and all they did was in favor was just preach Islam. Like, just think about that. I know it's like Jummah today, there's like a few stories in the case, so I wanted to really implicate that specific one. So that's like pretty much the gist of it. Any other questions? I think like every Jummah, I think if we just like think about that story, any hardship you're going through, just remember like there were youth our same age going through the same stuff with much, much, much worse. And like we're blessed in a way that we have like technology, we have social media, we have like other outlets that can give us like our Islamic knowledge.
Okay.
Okay.